How you guys doing? We're on, obviously, Call of Dragons here, back on the channel, and 15 hours from now, we're going to war. Yes, we're going into war. It's going to be a fun time, obviously, seeing what the new map's going to be in store. And obviously, as the title said, we're going to go over my marches, what I'm going to run in this season, right? And I'm going to explain my different choices and why I've got so many lineups, just in case, obviously, certain things don't come in, right? Because if we go into, obviously, the season introduction and the features, we know about the new season talents, right? Does this mean long-range warfare is going to be returning? We don't know. We honestly don't know if we're going to have longer-range warfare in the new season, right? So when it comes to actually making your, 5 marches, 4 marches, 3 marches, you name it, right? It is going to depend on those season talents, right? Because it is meta defining on archer players and mage players when it comes into the game. So if we go to the multi-create, we're going to see my actual 5 different builds, right? I've already got them on the presets down here. So this is just kind of what the game recommends. It's just kind of funny, right? But in the first one, you're going to notice this is a pure archer build, honestly. Even with the Indis and Tara being archers too, this is purely on the aspect if we have long range warfare, right? Because if we have honestly long range warfare and we are attacking at the exact same range as mage players, I am just maximizing the amount of damage I'm putting out, honestly. We've got the Syndron Freyga, we've got the Magazine, we've got obviously the Awakened Kanara Nico with the setup now as well, because I've got a pretty good Snow Peak. We're just now working on getting these guys done, and then eventually, if I can replace this, I might replace this with the Trigger Chance instead of the damage dealt. And then we just need to get a slot right for Tooth and Claw to finish the build off. So we've actually got a decent one, and we've got this Rattle Spear just for the defense break, extra damage, you know what we like. And this is just maximizing all archers. So this is allowing us to honestly pump out as much damage as possible, especially with the Indis now and the Tara. This is one march. You're going to see a little spoiler in mostly every setup I've got here, because this is going to be so good for any of your marches. Having that infirm onto the targets, and then obviously the Tara giving everyone that 15% attack and the damage taken reduction. All of your main marches, so basically my Kanara Nico, my Magze, and obviously my Syndron and Freyga, they're going to outperform what they would normally do because they're gaining so much extra outside help than they would normally get. Same even with my little archers here. I don't need to run these. I've only got this as like an honorable mention. You can still honestly run this as like long range warfare, but I am happy to remove that, right? And always replace this, honestly, guys, with, you can imagine, a Goresh Skogul, right? I'm happy to replace this at any time and bring at least 1 infantry in my lineups, right? And that's kind of the beauty of what I've got all of my lineups kind of set up to, right? So that was the first one, right? So that's kind of, I would say, the meta, having all the pairings working together as kind of like intended at the moment. I could change this and put Fair on if I wanted to, but I'm going for pure damage. I'm going to be honest with you guys. But when we go to the second one, this is going to be a little bit more off kind of meta, right? And what I mean by that is we've been testing a lot of, Magrat with Freyga. And honestly, in Behemoth Raids, it does an insane amount of damage. And that's because it's able to stand there and just fire off and get the, skill cycle going. When you have medium range, it isn't that effective, right? Because you honestly don't have the time to get the full effectiveness of this march. However, again, if we have long range warfare, I'm going to be running 4 archers here. And this is basically, we've got to keep the Kanara and Nico together. Maybe if I had like a good, Awakened Hosk, I could replace this with just a Kanara and Hosk, just to change it up a little bit. But we've got the Syndron and Zeta. This surprisingly does work pretty well. It's not even a bad match in its own. So having these two kind of split apart is interesting. I could also, if I really wanted to, just put the Kanara with the Syndron. I run something like Nico and Craig and just do a ton of AoE damage with defense break on top, right? And that's just all at long range warfare. So just remember, when it comes to these first two presets, the only reason I've got them like this is in case longer range warfare is there in the seasonal talents, right? Moving on now, this is going into a more of a hardcore version, right? This is now putting in some mages into the crew, and I've swapped out the Nico, and basically the only reason I'm doing this is I'll showcase a little bit later. I have a different talent build, and this is a more damage-based build over the Kanara, which is going to have obviously all the defense break builds on, right? So this is the only reason why I've swapped these two around, and that just obviously changes up a little bit. I'm still running the meta-free archers, and then I've got the Tara on the mages and the Lilia and Vela now on the mages. And again, if this is all long-range warfare, this is going to work perfectly with each other, right? So that's kind of like the first three, right? That's all working together, hoping long-range warfare is in the game. Moving into the next one, though, you'll see there's some changes, right? This is kind of where if I'm starting to see there's no long-range warfare, I'm actually putting in more mages and just running 2 archers, and I can deal with the different range mechanics, but what I'm happy to do is honestly remove these guys and obviously put in the Goresh Skogul for 1, right? So this is going to be a really cool match. Put that in instantly. But one thing that I recently did, guys, which is kind of crazy, if you've not noticed it in the hero pools, I've got my Madeline, but I did awaken my Nika. So I can run a Madeline Awaken Nika march and run double infantry, triple with the mage. And that's kind of like the way I've balanced it out, especially on the end game. So here, again, is kind of a mixture of everything. Running 2 infantry, 2 archers, and then running my mages. You're probably surprised I'm running Kanara Nico over Sindron and Freyga. The reason why I'm doing that is, honestly, if there is, again, longer range warfare in this setup, this is going to work perfectly because these two are obviously going to do the most amount of damage with the defense break and defense mitigation, just the extra skill damage you get from the double awakening march, with the mage as well, just pumping out damage. And by having 2 infantry, I'm helping my front line out. And what's really, really cool about this setup is the fact that the support match actually shines a little bit more, right? Because you can know with the Tara, this is 4 surrounding battle units, right? In battle. So I've only got 2. All right, and that's kind of the beauty of this match, right? The whole purpose of this is I'm sacrificing running maximum range. So this Tara is technically buffing 2 other, PTW members, which is amazing, right? I'm actually maybe buffing future T5 that are all around me while I'm just using my archers. And the cool thing is with this build, again, at any point, I can remove the archer setup and I can just put in like my Lilia, and I could go like with my Fire, right? I could run a very common build here. And then again, I could just run something like Waldia with my Valen, right? Perfectly free-to-play friendly setups that are going to just do a ton of AoE damage. And you can see already the game swapped it over into mages for me, right? So I love the fact that I'm able to do that, right? So really good flexible setups, and hopefully now you've got a good understanding of why I've got 5 different pages, and some of them are overlapping, right? But it makes sense why I'm doing that now, because I have to prepare for the season talent being there, and if it's not, right? Now let's go into a little bit of the actual talent pages, right? Because I did mention about the Nico and the Kanara, right? So currently, I do want to swap a little bit on the Nico page. I'm going to be honest, this is the page I'm running right now. It's a precision tree build. It does do an absolute truck ton of damage. But I'm going to be honest, I want to run a page more like this. I'm going to be honest, right? I just need to shift over the strength and weaponry because I was clearly drunk and I forgot to double up on the last word, so I can add the 8% counterattack damage in this build, right? And go down more of the marksman tree, right? So I might change mid-season to this build. Let me know if you want me to try this build over the precision tree, right? And I can see what is better, right? And how I feel which is better in the longer run. I do think this is going to be fine. If there is longer range warfare, honestly, Mark of War is going to be a really powerful talent that we could run as well on our page, instead of just trying to maximize on the amount of burst we do with the Mighty Slash on just extra attacks, right? going into the Kanara build, right? This is the Kanara build I'm running, and I did make a video about this, and this is my experiment, right? This is going to be my experiment build I'm running. The reason I'm doing this is, and I could have potentially only put 1 point into here, but I couldn't find, honestly, 1 point better. Like, where would I put 1 point better? Maybe on the Tremble, so I've got 1-on-1 on each. Could be an option, right? But the whole purpose of this is just to grant myself that 10% chance. Whenever you put 1 point to 5 point, guys, this 10% chance doesn't change. So you only need to put 1 point if you want that defense break option to trigger the Snow Peak Rock damage, right? As well as, obviously, the Nico. So that's the reason I've gone for this build, and by going for this build, I've kind of just made it as tanky as possible. You'll notice I've got, obviously, the counter-attack damage, which I could get, as well as the march speed. Same on this side, I've gone for the attack and march speed, just in case there isn't any long-range warfare. I need march speed at least to get in and out of combat with this march. And then going into 1.5 less damage. That is flat damage, guys. People don't realize that. You're reducing normal attack, counter attack, your hero skill damage you're taking, you name it, pet damage. This is all damage you're removing. So it really does make Kanara super tanky on top of the damage reductions in the fights you're doing. Gyro blows, kind of a no-brainer, I feel like, on this with the Nico. And then with our last points, we was able to get them 2.5% HP, 15% extra rage. So it feels really good when you look at actually the stats that we've got and what the tree is trying to accomplish. Yes, we do not have another end game stone, but it's not end of the world. I'm going to be honest. It is not end of the world, right? When it comes to the Syndrome, my Syndrome page I'm going to be running is this one. I might swap over to the rally one where you just have 10 points into, you know, the overall health and the HP instead to try and give you better trades. See if that is better over the attack version. I'll give you guys a little bit of feedback, obviously, throughout the season on that. But apart from that, that's pretty much it, right? I'm not going to be honest. I'm going to be honest with you. My Lilia page is in my latest video. If you want to check out any of the pages I'm going to be running, honestly, yesterday's video has every hero in the pool that I would recommend, you know, this one talent page to run for them, and you can, you know, run it in Season of Strife if you want, or earlier seasons if it's applicable to you. But yeah, that's going to be today's video. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I am honestly looking forward against, I believe it's AC we're against, so it's going to be a really fun season. Hopefully we see, obviously, fellow content creator Burgas on the battlefield, and we can maybe make a collaboration video where maybe set up some fun objectives, maybe like hypothetically try to kill one of, you know, Burgas's march with just like with a pan, right? Pan has to be in the march, so if it was like a pan and like mag, maybe that's the way we go, right? But we can make some really fun maybe like objectives throughout the season to try and do with each other, right? So if you want me to do that, smash a comment down below. It's been an amazing time. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Smash a like, comment, and subscribe. Till the next one. Stay safe, stay sneaky. Peace out.